to the next episode of Get Your Deck Out. It's me here, Old Emo Dave, and I'm here with another local friend of mine, here with Nick here from the Nick Brown MTG YouTube. Nick, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Really good to be here. Big fan of the pod, and yeah,
we're a big fan of you. The lowest key YouTube channel on YouTube. Obviously, make sure you follow the subscriptions in the channel. Plays probably all the decks you should be trying to play if you're ever going to be playing Modern Paper. We'll get onto that in a little bit. But we're going to get a little chat this evening. Obviously, you can see behind us, it's kind of dark. We're actually both in the south side of the UK, but I seem to be on the other side of the mountain. It's a hell of a lot darker here in Wales than it is where Nick is. Yeah, we just thought we get together, have a little bit of chat about enjoying Magic as a family man, and how that is, because Nick both dads of young children, and it really changes the game, doesn't it? Literally and metaphorically.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, mine's only 4 months old, so very, very new at this. But yeah, obviously it changes your whole life.
Yeah,
and yeah,
absolutely. But we'll get into how we. And it's a little bit of how I coped and how you're coping and changes that we make. But just your general background with Magic at all? How long have you been playing for? Where's the time where you were having the best fun and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, so I started, my first pre-release was Battle for Zendikar, whatever year that was. And around that time, I was living with my good friend Charlie, and he pulled out some old rubber band enshrined decks from mostly mirrored-in cards and some elves. And he said, "Oh, I think you might really like this." So I started jamming Kitchen Table, and then went to pre-release, and then sort of heard about this format called Modern, and slowly started getting into that. And I think I first built an Abzan mid-range, which wasn't very good. And then I remember when you suddenly start realizing that, you can, all of these cards are accessible on the internet. You can go and, just buy singles. I remember purchasing things like a Steam Vents for £10, which when you first start, it's like, I've spent £10 on cardboard. And then the love of the game just grew from there. I've always really liked the sort of competitive side.
Well, do you believe it or not? Do you believe it or not? Again, this is by complete coincidence, us having this hit today, but Battle for Zendikar, if I'm reading the dates right, is 10 years old today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the Dale Skyfall says 2015 10/2, which I believe is the American version, is American wise. So I probably should do a better Google of this whilst we're here. So release date.
Well, it may be my 10-year anniversary then.
What a time to have planned this. I wish I could claim. Yeah, October 2nd, 2015 is Battle for Zendikar. So today is your 10-year anniversary of playing Magic the Gathering. How do you feel?
Well, it's amazing. Yeah, what a coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah, I recently had my 4-year paper anniversary. So obviously background for me is mainly in Hearthstone, and sort of did the reverse Kibler, played poker, and then came backwards into Magic. And I was playing quite a bit over lockdown. So at some point in the lockdown I started, but my first paper pre-release was the Midnight Hunt pre-release in the September there.
Oh yeah.
After COVID, which got me hooked to the whole going beyond the cardboard almost, about what actually getting out and playing in paper can do for you. You mentioned the online though, because obviously we're both big massive Magic Online fans, and it definitely means then as far as getting your reps in with the game and getting yourself honed in and learning your style, having that and having the Eternal formats available is something which can mean that you don't get to lose a step even when life things do come in the way.
Yeah, exactly. I've always I always kind of saw Modo, or Magic Online as it is now, as like a tool for getting better for paper. I've played the odd qualifier and things online, but it's less. I really enjoy the paper game is where it's at for me, really. But if you want to get better and play, against the best in the world, it's not uncommon to find yourself matched up with Pro Tour competitors or whatever. It's really good. And yeah, I really enjoy Magic Online. And like you say, it's a good way to play from home. And it's when things like COVID happen, you can. And that's when I started my YouTube, just sort of not much to do in COVID. I'm playing Magic Online anyway. Let's record some and see what happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. And consistency always pays off with YouTube. Just continuously being out there, posting and getting out there and telling people to like and subscribe. I don't do enough to the camera. I'll put the little thing, the bell underneath. Magic Online for me also did that in relation to me. I was terrible starting. I was so used to the digital game, and specifically the arena, and also things like Hearthstone, where like you just did the thing and then the thing happened, and so I was very well versed in like how to play games, but missing triggers was almost like my downfall, and. The first sort of event that I ever took seriously at all was the first round of Pioneer RCQs. Remember them, kids? Pioneer, we were going to go all the way down to Exeter, and I my beloved Greasefang deck. I loved Greasefang so much, and you couldn't really play like a Greasefang deck on Arena and get good reps. And I sort of like spent hours with my friend Ben in like a Discord call, like going through and playing. And I was getting so frustrated at the time with like all the different step bits, and I could probably, if I had £1 for every time I didn't crew my Parhelion before going to combat, like I probably would have a couple of quid in the bank. But what it did teach me was that the game's got a little bit of an extra level, so you can go beyond playing into competing, and then into really competing. And yeah. I guess I'm probably sitting around there now that like I am sometimes the worst, that I'll just put a deck together, do 0 reps and bring it to the store. But like I kind of like understand the difference now between like having a deck and really knowing a deck. And Magic Online helped me really hone that in relation to like having little intricacies of play. I see it now with I'm playing the mono red deck mainly in standard, and the little knowledge of they got 2 mana open. I got a higher claw. I'm going to attack with my higher claw. They are waiting for me to drop 2 mana into this +1/+1. It looks free. It's not free. They're gonna get you. You need to just leave your 2 mana open, drop the 1 damage, and it maybe if before you go to end step you drop your other 2 drop, or maybe you just hold it with lightning strike. And just having that extra level of knowledge comes from just understanding the fact that there's a point when you attack, then before you do damage. That adds to all the levels of the play. And definitely is the thing which keeps my brain going and keeps my juices flowing in that respect, because you don't lose it, do you? Obviously, like despite having the children around and having sort of the little ones who you they are just as much as pride and joy. It's definitely great. It's definitely important to still keep a balance and keep it healthy. With keep it getting the reps in and the games in, and I have a nice little we have a nice little balance in my household here. So we'll call her Mrs. Emo Dave for reference to the internet, but a nice little balance. So if you keep it all in this office, you keep it all in this office. You make sure you've always been there at bedtime. You can go once a week without any arguments, like just no arguments whatsoever. But then the second time, let's have a chat kind of thing. So if there is like a weekend event, or there is like a double header, like and it sort of like keeps family life in check with it as well, because if you go when you start getting a little bit overly hyper focused, you suddenly just realize, oh, like I missed parents' evening. It's not necessarily a way to go. How is it right now with a little one around the house?
Yeah, I mean, just that sounds like a really good system. Yeah, it's been chaotic, as you probably well know. But in many ways, I'm prone to understanding that in some ways, a little one is easier than when they start running around and trying to get your magic cards or whatever. But yeah, I have it all in like a study, but that is now. We've sort of outgrown our house, so we're actually looking at moving. We'll be joining the Welsh Magic contingent, hopping over the border. But it's obviously changed a lot. I've been very fortunate that I had quite a lot of paternity leave. I work from home quite a lot, which has really helped. And yeah, my wife's fantastic with baby and everything. And it's come to that kind of give and take. Yeah, as you said, it's very good to keep a hobby up, and it's good to have something outside just to keep ticking over and think about outside of just caring for baby. But obviously it did, my magic playing did take a big hit, but again, my wife's been great, and I had several, quite a long time out. Most of my I had 6 weeks off, and
that's not bad. That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And nary a magic card touch really then, obviously, but then dipped my toe back in the water and went to one of the Seven River series, which was really good. But as you can imagine, me living in Bristol, competitive player, loving modern, Seven River series is announced. Usually I'd be going to half a dozen of those. But I made it to one, which is good. And I've sort of earmarked as well now for I'm going to Liverpool for the Spotlight.
Yes, so, we'll see you there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get you repping. We'll get you repping Team Get Your Deck Out. Don't you worry. We'll get you kitted out in a shirt. Get you. You out there.
Very exciting. But yeah, just my wife's going to take the baby to her parents, and I'll have a weekend. And then just the other point is we're also going to go to Antwerp for the regional championship in November.
Nice.
My partner and baby in tow, turn it into a bit of a holiday. Not too bad driving over through the tunnel. So yeah.
Yeah, like there's two levels to Magic, isn't there? There is like F&M, and I think in a way it's not great that the sort of classic F&M has died off, and I'll say I will like happily say that as someone who has one of the bigger stores doing the bigger numbers, like the weekly Friday standard / draft has turned into a bunch of commander pods, which they're still loving the game, they're still part of the ecosystem, no hate there whatsoever, but the competitive landscape has definitely changed. I guess people like you and me, like it's actually kind of like changed in our favor a little bit, because we are in a position that we can play most days with our devices, and then when we go in person we can play for slightly higher stakes, slightly more organized setups, and get sort of, when we get to do it in like a big scene. And unfortunately, we are at a time with sort of this particular quarter round. We didn't specifically do. Just didn't have any foresight that not doing the Seven River Series Part 2 into the winter was gonna be because of Vivi, but we are kind of fortunate now because attendances are down in the dumpster. So in the time of recording this, we've got a RCQ on the weekend, and someone actually reacted to me earlier and said, how have you only sold 9 tickets on the Thursday before an RCQ? This time last year, you'd sold out 10 days ahead of a storm. And I completely had forgotten, but there was in the UK, there was like a really, really bad windy storm. And we had an RCQ on the day of the storm. It was fully sold out 10 days in advance. And we were very open and transparent. We were like, if you want your money back, it's fine, right? But people were like can I just see if I can make it? Because I really, really, really want to play. Not even getting close to that. A little bit, a little nod for, I think there's a few more stores than there has been over the years now actually running these things, but it's a really packed calendar. Spider-Man has done interesting things to the landscape, and we still have got Avatar left for the rest of the year to consume, and then 7 sets ahead of us in 2026. Makes you feel happy to only be dipping your toe in now and again, right?
Yeah, for sure. There is a lot of product coming out at the moment. Some ways it's exciting, but it can be very overwhelming, can't it? Like it seems like we only have just had one set, and you start getting spoilers for the next.
Well, it's the whole habitual spoiler season is actually crazy at crazy levels now. We're like actually spoiling the next spoiler season before the spoiler season of the spoiler. Like I've got like in like my locker, and when you're just mapping decks out in Moxfield for like ideas, I've kind of like got like a Demir Rogues list for Pioneer built on the theory of the Bitter Blossom on a stick being in it. And we're two sets away from not even being a release cycle, and it's just like you don't even settle down to enjoy what you've got now before you're planning what's next, and it's why I definitely see that there's been where there's been a real plateau in the sort of like growth of standard. I could see last weekend's the last Modern Pro Tour, the current like upsurge in Pauper. I can see why, because the game is still great, playing it is still great, but having to like rotate your deck every 3 weeks isn't. But being able to build out 2, maybe 3 decks, which you might tech cards in or out a couple of cards during different metas, but I can see why people's allure is completely like almost non-conforming to the F&M scene, and being part of like modern proxy leagues or pauper leagues. Like, I will wax lyrical about the success of the Pauper League in Bristol and everything that they're doing there, and we'll be going over there in a couple of weeks for their final just to soak up the atmosphere. Have you been to that yourself, or have you seen what they've been up to?
Yeah, I'm quite new to Pauper, but they get 40 players every Thursday. Well, 30. Sometimes they get 40, I think, on a Thursday in the centre of Bristol.
I think it's fantastic. There's in a place called. I think it's fantastic. There's in a place called Shreddenham's. Like there's nothing more endearing to the fact that like the this is punk rock and roll type of thing in a makeshift warehouse skate track. Like what a cool thing.
For the uninitiated, it used to be a Debenhams department store for over 4 levels, and it's been turned into Shreddenham's, which is a indoor. It's got a skate park, it's got a bar, it's got indoor football. But Shreddenham's is a interesting name. I love it. I think it's
I love it, and I love everything they're doing. And obviously, there's a UK Pauper Nationals coming up, and there was a little bit of a concern about, they've ended up having an accidental clash with Eternal Weekend. But I can say from the internal rumblings of the TO Discords is they've sold as many tickets now as they did last year. So if that's anything to go by, it's not dropped off, despite the heavy hitters are going to probably be going to Bologna and soaking up the pub again and lifestyle. But that's the shift I'm sensing and feeling, is that there isn't much money in it for the big stores. I'm affiliated but don't run it. But what I can say from the numbers perspective is we can't really do much better than what we're doing from a point of view of how much F&M costs, like how regular the packs can be got, or how much your RCQs are going to cost you. So because of the constraints and costing, like there ain't a big old bag being made on a Magic pack, right? Like if you're buying a Magic pack for £6, a Spider-Man one, I think that store after their costs is making about 20p. a pack, right? So it's not there. So no wonder like the really successfully growing communities are the ones that are got a bit of volunteer about them. We will have to call that out. A lot of these people do the stuff for free and the love and the passion, but it's being done with a little bit more freedom and growth. And there's more of that in Bristol, isn't there? Like there's more of these community elements across all formats.
Yeah, I think there had to be for certain things. For example, for constructed modern, for example, there's maybe, I don't know, a rotating pool of maybe 10 players. And it's just kept up with community sort of input. None of the stores really run that much organised F&M anymore. And I mean, we've taken to the sort of competitive players will now meet up just 4 people. We might have a range of the meta decks and you can just jam them against each other. On Sunday we had everyone piled into my house and had the Pro Tour on and jammed some Modern and like going back to how it's changed being a Magic dad. That was perfect. We got to play some Modern competitive decks, got to watch the Pro Tour, but then if I need to jump out and help, can do. So yeah, that landscape's definitely changed. And I think draft still runs in Bristol certain times, but I don't know when the last like modern F&M was. I can't even remember, despite having 4 Magic shops in Bristol.
It's changed. It's interesting, isn't it? I think because obviously, 10 years ago there was definitely not the same amount of places to play Magic than there is right now. So there was a concentration on playing one way, and now you can play all the ways in all the places. So I've taken a little bit of a soul searching on it recently and realized that like what does everybody need? And I think everybody just needs something that suits them. And going into sort of like our theme of the pod, the Magic Dad pod, is oh my god, we've got a spin off there, Nick. I just think we've just there it is, Magic Dads. Is that there's lots of ways to enjoy the game. I think you should always prioritize enjoying the game first. At any particular time, drop a format if you're not enjoying it. Don't play a format if you're not enjoying it, and don't break your back over a game effectively. So I'd say this to anybody who's out there who's like running a community run area or is like helping a store out. Know your own personal worth. Know that your own mental health is wealth. So if it's getting a little bit too much, stepping back isn't a problem. And that the community you built are the friends that will hold you up. So don't feel like either needing to take a week off or maybe changing the night is like any kind of weakness. Like you ultimately, these are ultimately your friends and they are grateful for what you do. And, we are grown-ups of different types of people work in different types of things. They may not necessarily verbalize how much that means to them, but when you like tell them that you need some help and support, they'll be there for you and they'll help you just play Magic. And I've done that with multiple people and still even to this day, like I'll just meet people in town after work for a couple of hours to play a random format, and it doesn't need to necessarily have stakes on the line. It doesn't necessarily have a pack per win. It's just playing Magic, right? And that's and that's the key element. Is there any particular format you kind of don't play for the similar reasons? Is it not really an enjoyment there, or you just have never found your little bit of a je ne sais quoi to it? Like, it's that it's not so good for you?
I enjoy everything. I don't play. I'll usually stick to in terms of constructed, serious sort of play. It's usually tied into whatever the RCQ season is.
It's changed.
I commander very, very casually, pre-cons or decks made from whatever's sitting around in my collection and getting around a kitchen table. Getting around a kitchen table and ordering some pizzas and having some beers. The one thing I don't think I would touch too much would be CDH, like competitive. or more serious commander, just because that kind of politics element and things with it's if you're going to do CVH and it's with your own group of friends and things, that's really good, and if you're all sort of on the same page. But I think it's very difficult with the if it's a competitive environment. I think the whole politics things and having
it's changed.
The system by which decks are kind of powered and ranked against each other, just not really my bag. But like you say, it's each to their own. Everyone's gonna find their enjoyment. But other than that, my main format is Modern. That's the one I enjoy the most.
So with Modern being the format of choice, what kind of decks have you got in the bag at the moment?
So practicing a bit for the Modern portion of the Spotlight in Liverpool. Front runner at the moment is Brood Scale combo. The Brood Scale into play, equip the Blade of the Blood Chief and make infinite spawns and infinite mana. I really like for competitive tournaments. I've always said I want to be doing something busted, like a combo or putting a massive creature into play really early. But I also want a backup plan. But so I've really been enjoying that. You get to do the infinite combo. You also get a quote unquote fair plan with the Saga or Fleshraker or the Big Eldrazi or Emrakul. So that's what I think the front runner at the moment.
Yeah, I a friend of the pod, Adam, who recently did really, really well in the last Modern RC. Like his always take on Belcher and why he still thinks Belcher is a great deck, but also is why it's still got the popular deck. It's when you go beyond playing your like 5 rounds in the top 8 RCQ, like 14 rounds is a grind. So you want to almost like minimize your decision points, and you also want to minimize the decision points where you're going to make major mistakes, so that you can then maximize your win rate. And I kind of get that with Brood Scale's a great example. Belcher. Why I loved Greece. My big thing about the whole Grease Song, God, again, another classic, if I had a pound for every time I mentioned Grease Song on the pod, is up until recently, it never really ever had like that backup plan. It was almost like if you don't get to do the thing, you probably don't win the match. So that's where modern combo decks are fab. They tend to be, here's the thing that wins on the spot, but here's the other way to win. And that's where it's such a good format, isn't it? Yeah. Interesting. So if that's where those of you who are not necessarily signed up with the Spotlight series, there is more than just a standard tournament. I think I fancy my chances more by the day in the main event, based on the amount of people who seem to be telling me I'm going for all the other great things. Got some good, got some friends who are going up for like specifically the Pauper side events, the sealed events, and I think it's gonna still be a fantastic show and a Magic. I think, I wonder what over unders there are on the actual main event, like results. What was it? It was 700 in Orlando. Do you sort of like reading like the opinions of the disco groups you're in and the people and the groups you're around? You're a competitive player who tends to lead into whatever's being played as the main event right now, but is still playing Modern. Do you reckon we could even be sub 500 for this Spotlight series in the main event?
It could be. I'm still debating playing it just because the Modern side events are Friday, Sunday, so I could just jam. But it's likely to be fairly low, I think.
Yeah, it's the two. It's ironically before Mono Red found it was the one that could beat Vivi and also have game against everyone else. Like, the format was a little bit wider. And actually, now that Mono Red is there, like, yes, I've been looking this week because obviously we got our RCs on the weekend, and I'm like, it's Mono Red or Cauldron, right? Like, you kind of don't really have major agency to play anything else. Like, and that's why Modern continues to be like a real great go-to, because you can be a big fan of a particular deck. Like we saw this last Pro Tour, Is It Prowess top 8 in. Almost everyone said on the run up that Is It Prowess is a quote unquote bad choice because of the field. But I think in Modern, if you are one of the higher level players on any bad choice, you still get a fantastic option. Energy was in the toilet, but of all people, Mr. Reed Duke himself on Azorius Energy was like something ridiculous win rate in Modern. I think he only lost one match in Modern. He kind of scrubbed a bit in the draft. So it continues to give you that agency as a format. What have you seen that deck? Have you seen like the sort of almost like transitional away from Boros plan that people seem to be doing with the energy cards?
I definitely saw the Azorius Blink one. I think, it had the aggressive creatures in it, like the Ocelot Pride and the Guide of Souls, but then it also had Emerate and Riddler and bits. So yeah, it was kind of cross between Energy and the Esper Blink decks. It looked really cool. I hadn't seen it before the Pro Tour. But I enjoy that kind of Magic as well. So it was really good to see. And the Pro Tour was pretty diverse. It was weird to, the numbers started coming through, and Goryo's emerging as the most played deck was very unexpected, I think. But I really enjoyed watching it. It was really good.
Yeah, interesting how the true top of the top is another meta on itself, isn't it? Like there's your F&M, there's your RCQs, there's, I'd say probably above RCQs, there's your Magic Online meta. I think you can, and you have to consider them as two separate ones as well. If I'm going to be fair, like I think a certain decks that you could actually jam in Magic Online and do really well with, you could take to your RCQ and actually get stomped because of some type of like micro meta shenanigans. And then further up from that, everyone knows how sold Modo is, so they then think about how do I beat the Modo, and then how do I beat the Modo, but also jam well into everything random, because even in a Pro Tour of like 300 people, you still have to kind of like hold the outlier for what if I face mono white life gain in round one.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of some of my little adaptions that I'm trying to sort of speak to a lot of like smarter people than me on when it comes to like prepping for Liverpool is I may be playing mono red, or should we say like Is It Red, to have the Vipers and things really well. But like, how do I fine tune it even further to sort of make sure I've got agency in that random matchup that I see in 3-0? Because I can practice all day and all night on mode at the moment, but I can guarantee my league is mirror, Vivi, random omniscience deck, Vivi. And it's just a habitual cycle where I'm going 3-2, 4-1, sometimes 2-3. It becomes a little bit of a different beast when you play in the bigger rounds. For you, what was like the best result you've had over the years in that world?
In terms of like big tournaments, I've played 3 RCs. Didn't do particularly well in any of them, but it was really good to go. I always seem to qualify. I've never won an RCQ. I top forward an Axion Mega Modern to make one. I last chance qualified twice, one under the old system, one under the new. And then, I've played in a few of those. I've got a few challenge and like Modo RCQ top 16s, top 8s, top 32s. And then a couple of, I've had quite good records at Mega Moderns. I've played both of the Axion Invitationals so far. And walked away with quite a lot of prizes and things from Mega Modern. So I wouldn't say anything stellar. Although I guess a long time ago when GPs were a thing, I managed to day 2, I think the last one in Birmingham, And then I also day two'd in Utrecht when was that? May this? No, can't May this year. February this year.
Yeah, February, March this year. Utrecht was.
Yeah, and I was one of the like you say, the rogue decks that you get paired into. I played Hollow One that day.
Wow, love that.
And managed to finish. Yeah, I was 9-6, so I was fairly happy with that.
You take that. You take that every time.
Yeah.
If someone's offering you that, then like that means you've had 15 rounds of Magic, you've been in the hunt, and you've played really well. Like in theory, any wider, bigger RC, sometimes not like 10 and 5 sneaks into the Pro Tour slot. So
yeah,
like if you need to be getting to 11-4 and better, and sort of taking it that way. Yeah, still a little bit undecided with Liverpool on that, on whether like I actually want to be the rogue deck in the room as well. Like, feel like it's almost like that's the coolest story, right? And I'm like, but when I saw the Infinity Stone statue, I'm almost like a little bit like I really wouldn't mind going like hard for that. That's kind of so like when you sort of go back to the real life day job and you speak to the what should we just call the normies of your normal work, and they sort of know that you do Magic the Gathering, so like I can now sort of like canon it in a little. And I showed my mate in work, I was like, hey, look at this trophy I'm playing for the end of the month. He's like, that's cool, that's wicked, like, because everyone knows it. I think that's the undervalue that Spider-Man could have been bringing or I guess is bringing, but isn't bringing directly to the entrenched community. And not to over egg what is already like the massive discourse on it, but we all just need to calm down, I think, in respect of it's just another set. If you play in an Eternal format, you buy the cards you need and just enjoy continuing to play Magic with your friends. Like, there's no need to be like concerned about like what UB means. UB means nothing. Your community's the same, your game's the same. Like, and that's the thing you should hold on to and protect. Family, community, look after those things. Well, they tell us from above, like, yeah, whatever. It's a game, right? But some of us love that stuff.
Yeah, and I think if it genuinely brings new players in, if someone happens to be in a game store and they're a massive Spider-Man fan and they see that, I can play Magic with Spider-Man cards, let's see what this is about. If it brings that new player base in, then I'm for that. I'd rather have Magic with Universes Beyond than no Magic at all, kind of thing. And it's always good to get more players in.
No, for sure. And I think this will become like a broken record, and probably as this pod goes out, it'll be alongside this little review that I've been doing on value of promos versus cost to event from the last 3 years. And if the intention is to get people playing Magic in a constructed format, and unfortunately we are actually losing the battle, because whether you like it or not, like, you can go and buy a pre-con for $49.99 and never have to spend another penny. Where I could go play 10 Magic tournaments, never make top 8, and in total value, you might have given me back promos worth about £4.72, and you should be incentivizing people to try, and whether they like it or not, or whether this is like, there'll be some kind of justification, right? And I'm in real life a corporate body. I understand corporate speak, and I understand that sometimes it's like a justification from the boardroom, right? But one thing you can't not tell me is cardboard, and ink is ink. So whether you printed a Mox Opal or whether you printed a Manifold mouse, it's no different. Whether you commissioned a Mox Opal or a Manifold mouse, it's no different. And there was a bit of discourse around the whole Urza Saga borderless. I know some stores didn't do the right thing with it. Then sort them out. Like, that's why you hire relationship managers. That's why you hire compliance people. Sort them out. Deal with them. They're representing your brand. That's your thing. But don't punish the players because a couple of store owners were a little bit back pockety. Like like reward the players, because we still see them come in, we still see them try Commander, we still see them go, oh, that'd be cool if I could just play 1v1. We still see them build a deck, we still see them drop 300 quid. But when they're still not good enough to top 8 and they're trying their 4th RCQ in a row, knowing they're going to go 2 and 3 at best, no wonder they're tired, no wonder they're undervalued. But you know what, like, if along that season of RCQs they managed to pick up an Ocelot Pride promo every event because they just about scraped the top 16, then next season they're playing Modern and they're enjoying it, and they're getting entrenched and they're getting value. So I don't know if where you sit on the promo debate, but that's where I am at, and it's the horse I'm not coming off.
Yeah, I have to admit I haven't given it too much thought. I think there are, other issues. I think you allude and are a big champion of things like, I think here, for example, RCQ packs from Fanfinity, they're to a store 120, 150 quid.
Yeah, 140 euros is the number.
Yeah.
Which, if you're lucky, it comes from a UK supplier. If you're unlucky, you get whacked for £100 import tax.
Yeah. So, and that's just, if you want to put on an RCQ, you can't be expected necessarily to have a big prize pool with that amount of overhead just before people even walk in the door. And your Seven River series seemed to, is very good, very well publicized. Everything, all the stores are really on board, which is fantastic. But if a store buys one of these and then gets 9 players sign up, you're going to find it hard. Something I didn't use was whether and it comes from, I guess, a fairly privileged position where I've got the decks I like to play and stuff, but whether you could just have £10 RCQs and no prizes apart from the invite. Because
do you know what, I've definitely debated that, because if you think about that number, like, you need 8 to run one, don't you? So, like, and the big Twitter joke is about, like, I top forward a local 4-man. It's like,
yeah.
And yeah, that's a lot more. Do you know, like, the local 4-man probably cost the US store not much more than the 40-person 1-man that we've run or something. But yeah, the stores are priced out, and I'll even, like, pull behind the curtain and go, if I get myself cancelled, who cares, right? I've run enough of them now to just walk away with my head held high. We currently have 9 tickets sold as of today for a weekend RCQ. I am very well aware that Magic players are Magic players, and we might still get like 15 people. But what we're trying to do for that 15 people for this weekend would be, it's a £25 ticket, and at the end of the day, the store want to at least cover their costs, and they want to cover the cost of the kit. So if we say like half of that money goes into a prize pool and also pays a judge, and thankfully, absolutely thankfully, the wonderful people at Troll Trader, where if you in the UK you buy singles, you should need to go and check Troll Trader out for their value and the speed of service. Currently, if that was a 15-person, which would only be a top 4, there would be no prizes outside of top 4. But again, that's not too odd. But you'd be getting £72 worth of credit for winning after paying £25 to enter. Making your money back plus £2 for 3rd and 4th, and making 50 quid if you come second. Now, that's probably on the higher end of value that any store is giving back. But the store on those numbers are making a £12.50 loss after getting a judge to give up their whole day, and their percentage takeout of that would be £45 Troll Trader credit. So they're technically, well, like, they're 10-hour days sometimes, so like they could technically be working for £4 an hour, and that makes me feel really sad to think that, like, I'll be asking someone to do that. And it's why for many times I've done it myself, but we've had a great community rally around and start be like, look, Dave, you deserve to play now. You deserve to be involved. We'll do it. We'll be involved. But, like, yeah, that's the crazy small margins that people are working off, and the only answer in my mind because I don't think the cardboard gets cheaper. I don't think the stores have less cost, because admittedly some of that is wages and taxes. So like this, the only argument I got here is, so if everybody who hit the top 16 had a promo for a Quantum Riddler and the winner got a Mox Opal, this tournament would be sold out. If there was no other prizes, right? If there's no other prizes, this tournament would be sold out already for this weekend, because that would be cool. And I do appreciate time lags. I do appreciate this current round of promos was probably made about a year ago, but we could have picked up Ocelot Pride. We could have picked up a Johnny. We could have picked up Ragavan. We could have, you could have printed a lot of things. Like you could by this time last year, you could have realized Oculuses were going to be good, so you could have printed an Oculus, and they're still what, £15, you know. So, I think they're a tied-in argument that if this is what needs to happen to make the system happen, you need to make the system have greater value, and this is the one bit that's within your agency is print better promos. Print better promos. Get more people playing, because we've seen it when the last Door Champs had Fable of the Mirror Breaker and Slick Shot Show Off, and even Bitter Triumph for turning up. Like, Bitter Triumph's a cool, like, common to pick a couple up of and have in the locker. We got like 17 people on Tuesday night, like, yeah. And it's like, great, cool, like, brilliant. Looking ahead at what 2026 did put in play, it's hard to get excited for 7 sets, but is there going to be a particular one? Is there going to be a particular one coming out where you're like, that really hits the spot of my nerd lore or my fancying, or are you more a case of, I'm going to enjoy the start of the year, I like the Magic canon, and I'm going to tune out until the end of the year when we have the Jace Bellerin story?
I think Lorwyn looks, from what we're seeing, the initial ones looks good. It's a Magic set, you know. I think on a similar vein to what we were just chatting about, Dragonstorm had big numbers for pre-release because it's dragons, it's Magic, it's, you know, what a lot of people got into the game for, and Lorwyn again is a big part of that. I remember the day I got my Lorwyn Thoughtseizes, or that art anyway, when it was reprinted, and so yeah, looking forward to that. Maybe, yeah, I mean, it is a bit of set fatigue, isn't there? Just so much stuff. But yeah, I mean, the other big news is places to play. We've got another GP next year in the UK, which yes. After having none since, you know, forever, 2 in 9 months is, I just wasn't expecting that, especially with, you know, I've spoken to traders and stuff, and they said that Brexit is an absolute nightmare, made it a nightmare for them to bring cards over and, you know, what have you. Just wasn't expecting it. And it's just fantastic because it's a lot easier for me to go and play a London RC, a London GP. Well, still calling them GPs, maybe.
They're GPs. They're GPs. I wasn't even around for GPs. I still refer to it as the Liverpool GP. It's like, looking forward to that in the XL. In other words, meaning they have hopes that this one's going to be massive.
Is it in the XL?
It's in the XL, yeah. And the great thing is going to be, it's going to be GP. It's going to be Spotlight Marvel Superhero as well. So another Infinity Gauntlet will be up for go. But yeah, no, I do. From people I've spoke to, I think the feeling behind why the UK has been picked for, well, effectively, yes, we've got one a year, haven't we? Effectively, but the fact we're back on the market is, as a whole, we have become a lot more of a growing market. And we sit here podcast after podcast talking about where's the state of competitive, but it's always about what's the state of the competitive you're looking at right now. Like, so whilst we're talking, Scott, who's usually on the show, like, he's just actually like saying like, you saw we were recording and he goes, you can say on the pod, like, fuck his competitive Magic dying. We've got 13 players on a Thursday and there's nothing to play for. And he's right. Like, competitive ain't dying. Competitive's just changing. Like, mindsets are changing, ways of playing are changing. We're getting older. We're doing it in different ways, but we're still passionate and we're still ready to play. And yeah, great to have the Pro Tour GP, whatever, or Spotlight Series, whatever you want to call it, incoming. The infrastructure's back. We got some great traders now. It's not just Axion, and we will never necessarily say that they're not one of the best, if not the best. But we got some wonderful emerging traders like Dyson Dumplings down in Southampton are doing a great job with their store there. Got the guys up in Full Fire in Gloucester, and just the basically the belt of stores from Liverpool across to Sheffield as well. Like they're all very, very solid as well. Like it's far from dead. Like also like the emo's not dead meme almost. If like we may feel like some things are on the decline, but it's because so many other things are on the up, and that means, and if that means it's because Commander's been helping, who cares? Because if you want to come and play Commander, come play. I welcome you with open arms. I do. Just I would like to play 60 card formats. Thank you. That's the way I look at it. So there's your plans. There's your 2026 plans. One last speculation. What is the IP that is going to be spoiled on October 10th? What are we getting from the Nickelodeon series? Wrong answers only, I should probably say. But I think, and you're not allowed to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Everyone says that because I think they're probably quite right. But what have you got in your Nickelodeon back pocket of yesteryear, or what you've been forced to watch with your children that you'd like to see? I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
Gosh, it's a long time since I've thought about Nickelodeon. When I was a kid, well, I don't even know, was it Recess on Nickelodeon when I was growing up?
Recess is Disney Plus. So, like, you're in the right ballpark. You're in the right you're in the right channels on Sky. Like they were all around about the same place. I would love to see Paw Patrol for the dads in the room.
Right.
Paw Patrol is Nickelodeon. I love to see that it's not actually a full set. That it's actually a Commander leading set, and that we get Paw Patrol. So if you don't know these names yet, you need to get used to Jace, Rubble, and all of the friends that will have their Commander decks, these special dogs who save the world. They're the ones I think that we're going to get. It's going to probably be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles though, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. I drew a blank there, but that makes sense. I mean, Jace is a good name for a Magic card already.
Exactly. They literally just can do like overprints. Wouldn't it be incredible if they actually just surprise us and go, hey, we said we weren't going to do like reprint sets. We're just going to do Nickelodeon Masters. And so then like you have all these iconic Magic cards reprinted, but with just SpongeBob SquarePants and friends on them, and like example there, we do get a Jace Bellerin reprint, but it's actually Jace on Paw Patrol. Like, I think I'm onto something, and like Magic, if you want to work on this set, I am free, but obviously as I do, I never give financial advice. So we'll I'm my CV's in the email if you need it. No, yeah. So that there is still that to come. I'm looking forward to The Hobbit. I think The Hobbit's going to be cool because I think they did the Lord of the Rings really, really well. They've got the same set designers going on it. So I really, really am looking forward to that being something really special in the summertime. Star Trek's not for me. I'm kind of a bit, all right, fine, cool, it's happening. But yeah, I will ironically lap up the rest of it. Like I've got a teenage son who's at Marvel loving age, all of the Marvel. He's just sucking it all up. So it might be the time where I can finally convince him to the LGS to play a few games. But I'm sure he's going to be in the comments of this video saying, "No, Dad, absolutely not." But we'll see. We'll see on that one. Nick, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Just for leaving, just remind everybody where they can find you outside of here, or where you want them to find you, and then we'll sign off.
Yeah, no, thanks, Dave. It's been really good to come and have a chat. If you want to watch some
places to
I play a lot of modern competitive sort of decks on YouTube. You can find me on the very out there titled Nick B MTG. Just put that into YouTube, and yeah, that's where all of my stuff will be. Very sort of low key channel, focusing on mostly competitive. So yeah, feel free to pop by.
One of the best things you can put on your second monitor and work. That's the value from me. And also reintroduced me recently to the fact that Samwise Gamgee combo's back on the menu. That's a little value point of mine. I was like, I love this card. I can't wait. But for those of you watching, thank you for watching now on the Get Your Deck Out channel. Take a look on the channel for our upcoming videos and everything to do with playing competitive TCGs. I've been Old Emo Dave. Get your decks out wherever you want to play, and enjoy your Magic the Gathering, and we'll see you all soon.